Something I wouldn't do normally, I'm going immediately into traction control off. Why? There's a new power oversteer controller that even with traction control off allows you to get big drift angles, but then still will reel you in. But it's not traditional traction control. Big oversteer there. Let's see if we can do that again a little bit. All the way to second here, very low speed turn. Lawrence Ulrich here with The Drive, a very special day here with the Ferrari 488 Pista. Not just anywhere in Italy, but at Ferrari's fabled Fiorano circuit. And we know this has movie star looks, but this baby has been to drama school as well. Everything is heightened, the looks, the downforce, the power, the shift strategy, and the voice. This car is 8 decibels louder inside the car. The leading flaw of the original 488, just not enough of lung power from that turbocharged V8. And speaking of the V8, the most powerful 8-cylinder engine in Ferrari history, and it's not even close. 710 horsepower from just 3.9 liters of displacement. What does that give you? 0 to 60, well, let's call it 2.7 seconds, might even go 2.6. 0 to 120 in about 7.5 seconds, and a 211 mile an hour top speed. I'm just gonna warm the tires up a little bit. We've got new Michelin Pilot Sport K2 rubber designed specifically for this car. It's a very short circuit. This car in pro hands can run about a 1 and 21 second lap here. The gear shift is amazing. Twin turbo V8. And we're going to go over the pedestrian bridge here. Oh, listen to that thing. Hard on the brakes here. Woo! My God, is this a brute. Steering is just very lively. Man, this thing shriek. Almost hard to describe how much more sensation there is than the conventional 488. It's just a hairy beast. And here's my cool down lap. We can talk about, now I can stop sweating and talk about the car. It's this incredible red line strategy where most cars you'll approach the rev limiter. The car has to predict that you're about to hit the engine peak, and it'll start dialing back the fuel way before you actually really get there. This Ferrari 488 Pista reaches red line, keeps the fuel going, and just surge. You can feel it at the top of the red line, just surging into the next gear, with the car continuing to accelerate. Instead of just losing all your momentum going bap, 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 bap against the limiter, the thing just keeps on going. So much work on this car, so much transfer of race technology from everything from Formula One to the World Endurance Championship Ferrari 488s to the Ferrari Challenge Spec Series. And it begins up front, an entirely redesigned front end. From this carbon fiber hood and the first ever S-duct on a Ferrari road car. The air goes in, it goes up and over the bonnet and creates downforce over the front axle. Huge intakes here and these little flicks on the side. Hot air goes into the wheel arches and creates suction, contributing to a 12% overall gain in downforce versus the standard 488. Moving to the rear, of course, where the intakes were on the standard 488, there's still these big, sexy openings, but strictly for engine compartment cooling now. The actual engine intakes themselves have moved to the rear. And one of the coolest little dynamic features, this new oversteer little control. You can shut traction control off on this vehicle and still have control over oversteer, but with traction control completely off. And it lets you really play around at the limit as your skill and your daring allows to really generate some power oversteer, but still have the system come in with individual braking, but it is not traditional stability control. And the performance, almost indescribable. What do you get from a 710 horsepower car that weighs about 200 pounds less than a standard Ferrari 488? First, the weight savings. This car weighs barely 2,900 pounds dry weight, closer to 3,100 pounds with all fluids. Incredibly lightweight car. Combine that with 710 horsepower and the spectacular dual clutch 7-speed, and officially 2.85 seconds from 0 to 62 miles an hour. Extrapolating, we're thinking people are going to get easily 2.7 seconds out of this. 7.6 seconds to 124 miles per hour and a 211 mile an hour top speed. But numbers aside, this car is alive, it's visceral, it sounds chesty and spectacular. One of the world's great supercars, the Ferrari 488 Pista.